All right, let's jump right in. We are going way back. I mean, all the way to the 8th century BCE to unpack an ancient text that reads, believe it or not, like a high-stakes courtroom drama. We're talking about Isaiah chapter 5, and it's nothing less than a divine indictment.
So, this is the question that's really at the heart of it all. What in the world happens when a beautiful love song suddenly twists and becomes a courtroom indictment? I mean, that's a jarring shift, right? And it's exactly the setup the prophet Isaiah uses to build his case.
And just like that, the court is in session. But, it doesn't kick off with a loud gavel or some angry accusation. Nope. Instead, Isaiah starts with this incredibly gentle, almost sad piece he calls a song of betrayal. This song is actually a parable, the Song of the Vineyard. And in it, God, who's called the Well-Beloved, is laying out a formal legal case. The players are pretty simple. You've got the vine dresser, that's God, and then you have the vineyard, which is his people, Judah and Israel.
Okay, so let's get to the prosecution's opening statements. It's time to bring out Exhibit A, the parable of the vineyard itself. This is where the real heart of the accusation is. Now, listen to the sheer amount of work that goes into this vineyard. The vine dresser doesn't just, throw some seeds on the ground. He digs it all up, he clears out every single stone, he plants the absolute best, the choicest vine you could find. Then he builds a watchtower to protect it and even carves out a winepress because he's totally expecting this amazing harvest. This is a story of complete and total loving investment.
So after all that effort, what's the payoff? Well, he was expecting good, valuable grapes. But what he got was wild grapes. And the original Hebrew word here is fantastic. It can literally be translated as stinkberries. I mean, they were totally, utterly worthless. The contrast couldn't be more devastating.
And right here, this is the core of God's argument. He puts the question directly to the people, who are basically acting as the jury in this drama. He asks, what more could have been done to my vineyard that I have not done in it? He's making it crystal clear. The problem wasn't with the farmer. The fault, he says, is with the vine itself. But Isaiah isn't done yet. To make sure this charge really, really hits home, he uses this absolutely brilliant and honestly biting bit of Hebrew wordplay that just perfectly reveals the core of the problem. So check this out. God looked for Mishpot, that's justice, but instead he found Mishpah, which means oppression or even bloodshed. He looked for tzedakah, or righteousness, but all he heard was sa'akah, the cry of the oppressed. The words sound so similar, it's like a poetic gut punch, showing just how badly they missed the mark. So, with the parable set up, the indictment now gets super specific. The song is over, and Isaiah starts laying out this whole catalog of sins. He does it in the form of 6 woes. And you can think of these as 6 formal charges, 6 declarations of condemnation. Woe number 1. This one is aimed right at the greedy. It's a condemnation of those who are just gobbling up property, adding house to house and field to field until there is literally no room left for anybody else, completely squeezing out the poor. The second woe is for the revelers. Now, this isn't just about people having a fun party. It's a deep critique of a whole culture that's just lost in pleasure-seeking and escapism. And their sins were pretty specific. They were drinking from morning till night. They were at these endless parties with constant music, and this is the key part, they were completely ignoring what God was actually doing in the world around them. Their constant pursuit of pleasure had made them spiritually blind. Woe number 3. This one goes after the presumptuous. These are the people who are openly mocking God, basically daring him to act. They're saying, hey, if you're so powerful, bring it on. Let's see what you've got. Just pure arrogance. Okay, this 4th woe it's deep. It's about what he calls moral inversion. It's the act of calling evil good and good evil. Think about that. It's about twisting reality itself, substituting darkness for light, and trying to convince everyone that what is bitter is actually sweet. It's a fundamental attack on the very nature of truth. Woe number 5 is for the self-wise. You know these people. They're the ones who are just so wise in their own eyes, so clever in their own sight. They're so full of pride that they completely reject the idea of divine wisdom or any guidance from outside themselves. And the final charge, woe number 6, is for the corrupt. He's talking specifically about leaders and judges who were, quote, heroes at drinking wine, but use their power to completely pervert justice, taking bribes to acquit the guilty and condemn the innocent. So after laying out all 6 of these damning charges, the text moves to the only possible conclusion. The harvest has failed, the verdict is guilty, and the sentence, well, the sentence is about to be carried out. Judgment is coming.
And look at how the sentence is this perfect, tragic reversal of all that initial loving care. The protective hedge and wall, they're going to be torn down. All the blessings, like the careful pruning and the gentle rain, they're going to be withdrawn. The land will be left to be burned and trampled until society is just completely overgrown with the thorns of chaos. And the instrument of this judgment is described with these terrifying, almost cinematic details. God summons a foreign army from the ends of the earth, a relentless war machine whose arrows are sharp, their horses' hooves will seem like flint, and their wheels like a whirlwind. But what is the ultimate point of all of this? Is it really just about punishment for punishment's sake? Well, let's step back and look at the judge's motive. Because it turns out this is all pointing toward justice, judgment, and maybe even a very strange kind of hope. So, when you pull all these threads together, what do you get? Well, you get a story that starts with divine love and incredible investment. It's a story that insists that the failure, those wild grapes, is all about human responsibility, about our choices. It shows us that the fruit God really wants from any society is simple: justice and righteousness. And finally, it reveals a God who is sovereign over all of history, who can even use hostile nations as instruments for his own purposes.
And that's why this ancient text still packs such a punch today. It stands before any nation, any community, any one of us, really. And it asks this very critical question. Given everything you've been given, all the blessings and care, what kind of fruit are you actually producing? Which really just leaves us with this final thought to chew on. This ancient text judged a nation for its fruit, for that massive gap between what they said they were and what they actually were. So what might that mean for us today?